Hey everybody, this is Patty. Welcome to the Witching Hour. Yes, the hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. We have a great guest for you today. He's a psychic, he's a medium, he's an astrologer, he's a friend. He lives in Arizona. He's got a great shop in Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Dave Campbell. Welcome. Thank you so much, Dave, for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's an honor, and I've just been so excited to talk about everything today.
I
So,
know this. I'm so excited. The second I met you, I've a couple times now in your part of Arizona, and I first walked into your shop. You know, I go to a lot of metaphysical shops and things, and
mhm.
yours is extra special and extra big. Your workshops and everything, and the magic that you have. So I knew you were going to be a good friend.
Yes, it's awesome. Yes, I bonded with you, and we have so much in sync in our belief systems and our way of thinking that it's such a good alignment to have.
Yes, I
Right?
agree so
Yes.
wholeheartedly, and yeah, oh my, we have so many stories we can go into. But just if anybody's not quite familiar with you, how did you get on this very magical path? Were you born into this? Was something you found? This is your world.
Yeah, it's my world. I was real young, like 8 years old, when I noticed spirits, like most of us that are psychics and intuitives. Saw spirits, and I was babysat in a haunted house. And of course, they all thought I was just watching too much Dark Shadows and didn't want me to watch scary shows anymore. And so, that wasn't it at all. It's just I was attracted to those shows because I knew there was something to them, and I'm seeing stuff like that. So, um, and then my intuition was real strong, and it was kind of evident. And then around 8 years old, in first, second grade, my mom took me to a hypnotherapist because I wasn't doing well in school because I was just space cadet, in my own little
Mhm.
world. Didn't pay attention because I'm in La La Land. And that's a great place to be. But they taught me through hypnotherapy to focus and learn and listen and record what I'm hearing and seeing and sensing. And I never forgot a thing. And I started getting straight A's. And so
Right.
in that hypnotherapy, they also taught like psychic development, intuition, trusting your inner self, how to control your mind and how to create with your mind. And so it just set me on a whole path of positive thinking, law of attraction, hypnotherapy. I became a hypnotherapist. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well. So it's just, and tarot cards around 13, 14. I took my mom's cards after school and spread them out, and I heard voices. So I put them back together and threw them away for a minute because I was afraid. But, the curiosity got me back to the tarot, and then that led me to astrology because the tarot says it's kind of like an Aries person, and I'm like, what's an Aries person? So then I get an Aries book or an astrology book, and so it just went. Then I looked at palmistry, and it says it's like this is your Saturn line. I'm like, what is Saturn? Everything kept going back to astrology, so I'm like, let's just do astrology. And then I find out that magic is about astrology too. The timing, the days of the week, the hour. I mean, there's so much to astrology and magic that a lot of people, I'm not sure if they're all aware of, but
And probably not. Like we have extraordinarily same stories. That childhood, different, seeing spirits. But except for the astrology thing, my little brain just shuts down. It becomes a foreign language. I don't know if it's the numbers or the mathematics of it, past life, I don't know. But I'm always so intrigued with that, following the stars, following the planets. And you do something, and you did my chart, so I can't wait to go there. But let's start a little bit. I know you work a lot with asteroids. What, I've never even heard that before. What does that mean?
I know a lot of people don't realize that there's an asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and actually, beyond that too. But that's the first where the asteroid belt started. And there's thousands of asteroids, and they're named after people, places, cities, states, countries, lots of mythological characters from different mythologies around the world. Of course, Roman and Greek is, popular. So witches, there's all kinds of names. And so now there's like 25,000 named asteroids, and I keep track of them. I'm like nerdy. and I just obsess over it. So, like, there's an asteroid Campbell, there's an asteroid David. So, with
Wow.
those and Patricia, there's an asteroid Patricia. I'll tell you.
Really? I have an asteroid. Yay.
With Patricia, it's 24 Gemini, which gives you a personality a little bit with Gemini, like talking, promoting, communicating, which adds to your, Libra, which is already a communicator too. You have a lot of air, so it's very
I have a
communicative.
lot of air.
Yeah.
Hot air sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that, and when you put those names into like your relationship charts, it's crazy magical because it's like how they line up. And um, for instance, in my partner's chart, my previous partner's chart, um, the asteroid Campbell was on his seventh house cusp of marriage, exactly. And that's what he was born with. So it's like saying that he would marry somebody named Campbell. I mean, he
Wow.
did 20 years later. So things like that is just really crazy. It's
That
beyond happenstance. It's so synchronistic that you wonder, yeah, how much did we plan before we got here, and how much is really choice, and how much is really fate or free will. What I
that's
say doing the asteroids. I'm sorry to keep talking, but
no, keep talking. That's what we're here for. I'm intrigued.
I
This is
talk a lot
good.
too. So, but the asteroids just add synchronicity, they add spice, they add flavor. They don't overtake or change your chart because you're born with the planets there. The planets are the main players. The asteroids are called minor planets by the astronomers. So just think of them as minor players or spices or adjectives that add to um, the chart itself, but they're very specific, and so they would make or what makes us very different. And they travel at different speeds because they're all at different places in the sky. So they're very very detailed. So like you have some, like one called Diana, which is the goddess Diana. You know who she is, Artemis, Diana. It's conjunct your sun, so that puts that goddess really close to you. It just really resonate with her energy and her. She's a protector of children. She was definitely nature, love of animals. This
That's
is making
me.
sense. Is that you? I'm getting chills with
Yeah.
it, so I'm thinking it's resonating. Um, yeah, and so the myths of Diana will really be part of your personality because your sun sign is your persona. Your main part of you. So obviously Diana's in Libra because that's where she is in your chart. And then we've all heard of Circe. Do you know Circe, the myth? She
No,
was.
no. Tell us for those who don't know Circe.
Oh, for all. Okay, yes. Circe was the first witch in mythology. She was an herbologist, really, and cured with different herbs and tonics and tinctures, and people came to her for healing. She had a bad side too. Like if she got mad at men, usually for being taken advantage, she would turn them into pigs, swine. So she had a bad side. You didn't cross her very often, but was very helpful, and it's prominently located in your chart too. So you would do well with herbs, tonics,
I
healing
do.
stuff, and of course that's part of you who you are. So that's asteroids 5 degrees Scorpio, which is really strong in your chart. So I can look and see where they're placed, and that's how, because everybody has asteroids in the chart, but where are they placed? Are they hitting a planet? Is it making them accentuated and activating them? Because they're not all activated, just the ones that are in your chart, for you specifically. So there's also the myth of Psyche, and Psyche and Eros, they were lovers, and she had the gift of clairaudience.
Mm.
So clear hearing. So I'm sure you have some of that clear hearings, into you because it's really strong, and it's conjunct Pluto, which Pluto is the link to the underworld. So hearing spirits talking is one of your gifts, which you can validate for me if
Yeah, true. That's what I like since a kid. I do very clairaudient. I hear.
you
I
hear. Hmm.
spirits have been my best friends forever. Yeah.
Yes, and it's really strong in your chart. It shows that you would hear from the other side, from beyond the veil. Pluto is beyond, his realm of Hades. And Cassandra was, she had been given the gift of prophecy from Apollo because Apollo liked her and she didn't like him back. So he got mad at her after he gave her the gift. He decided he couldn't take it away, but she rejected him. And so he also cursed her with the fact that nobody would believe what she said,
Oh,
which is
wow.
very common for psychics. I've noticed, I've seen a theme in lots of psychics charts and astrologers that we have to get over that nobody believes us, so we shut down. But we're not going to shut down. We can't shut down. We have to keep going. We have to keep telling our prophecies or our visions and try and save what we can save, and if they don't listen, they don't listen. But that's what she always saw, like traumas from the war and things that would happen to Troy in the mythology, and tried to save people from dying, and they didn't listen, so guess what, they died. But it tortured her. But we don't have to go through that. We can heal and get over that fact that, I used to be so worried about skeptics. I'm sure we all
Yeah.
go through that phase.
Oh, yeah. You look online. I have to avoid things like Reddit and stuff. It's like,
Yes. Oh,
don't
I
believe what they say about you.
No, no, don't. And who cares? It's like you have to get to
Yeah.
that point where, like, who cares? If you don't believe, you don't believe. You'll never believe. I can't convince you. I'm
No,
here to
me
help
too.
those that need help, and if they don't, want it, then fine, move on. So
That's
we had to. So, but Cassandra's really strong in your chart too.
interesting. See, I
Yeah.
have never heard any of this before. I mean, like I said, I've always loved astrology, but I have never, ever, ever heard asteroids speak before. So, yay, you.
They're
I,
really crazy. It's fun. I mean, I wrote, the books, he flashed them up there. The
yes.
asteroids interpreted in amazing asteroid stories, because some of them are just beyond belief. Like, I can tell you story after story, and that one's the one that's the newest one. But it's like Elvis's chart and Priscilla's chart. The asteroid Elvis is on her house of marriage,
There
and
is an asteroid named Elvis?
yes, there's an asteroid Elvis. There's even an asteroid Santa. So I had to go put it in, like I put it in Billy Billy Bob Thornton's chart because he played Bad Santa. It's right on his ascendant. So I mean, he played Santa, and that's part of his persona. So he did a very well. They picked him because of it. I'm sure they don't know that, but
They don't know.
that's why he
That
was
is
drawn to it. you know?
that is fascinating. So do you think that this planets or the asteroids were named because of the attributes? Oh, that's Santa, that's Elvis, that's Cassandra, or they let it chicken or egg? I
It's
mean,
chicken or egg, because who names them is those who discovered them. So the astronomer that discovered it gets to name that. They hold the title. So there's thousands of people naming them, and they name them for whatever reason. They've named them after rock stars. I mean, there's an asteroid Beatles, which, by the way, shows up in all their charts real strong. And I'm like, there's an asteroid Bee Gees, and go figure, it's conjunct one of their sons. It's like, but these
yeah,
were named after they were born. So, but that, how could that happen? They knew it was going to be named it. So
magic. I love that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us about your book. So I work.
Yeah, so the books, one of them, this one's about stories, like all the weird, amazing, fun stories. And I use famous people so that we could all relate to that. And so you would understand the story, like the Beatles or rock stars and stuff like that. So you could get the general gist of it. And then the other one is more for you to interpret your own, because it's hard, like people now that they have them, what do they do with them? How do they interpret them? So I wrote a book to help interpret them, the four major asteroids in that one that are well used by almost all astrologers now. Most astrologers leave the other ones alone because they don't want to deal with too much information, and they don't like to. I love too much information.
I do too.
I'm a nerd. I like to really sort through the fun stuff. You also have a real strong one in your chart, Vesta, which is Hestia. You know who that is? She was
Yeah.
goddess of the fire, the hearth, keeping the community together and taking care of the community with fire and flame. So it's symbolic of keeping them all continuous and keep going. And she was very devoted and dedicated and very revered for her, you know, magic and stuff like that too. So
Every, I just want to confirm every name that you said that is in my chart. This little knowing came over me, like, of course, Vesta, of course. It like I knew that, but I didn't know that, but I knew that. So
but you resonate with her,
yeah,
and you're naturally going to be drawn to that goddess. And so I love talking about the goddesses and the different, realms. of things. Like you even have, this is a funny one, that you have Pandora on your midheaven.
And
You
what
know,
does that mean?
Pandora, the midheaven is your career and your what you're known for or what you kind of do in life. And so Pandora opened the box of questions. And then at the bottom of the box is hope. So she kind of lets out all the stuff that you make people go crazy because you open up all the questions in their mind and they have all this stuff to sort, and then they have hope at the bottom of when they figure it out.
And
That,
that's my goal in life. I have to tell you,
well,
that
the
is what I just
midheaven,
want people to think. I want people to ask questions when whether I'm on a silly television show or I'm talking to college students. That really is my goal. I've never telling it to Pandora, but I always had a thing for Pandora's box when I was a kid. This is
see,
wild, Dave.
see, so that's like, and you're drawn to those stories and those myths because that's part of who you are. It's really strong. It's conjunct Jupiter in your chart, which is a major planet, which is activating Pandora, and that story, that myth is going to be drawn to you, and there's going to be some lesson in it or something, but it's for you to open it up for the world, to make them open up. You know, my dad had that in his chart real strong, and he would go to church and ask all the questions that you're not supposed to ask because it's like making them think, and they would go, but you're not supposed to talk about that. And he's like, but we are talking about it. And everybody would go, shh, don't talk about those things. He was the one that would, you don't want to bring him to a place where you're not supposed to talk about stuff. But Pandora was on his Mercury, which is speech, and he was always opening up the questions nobody would dare ask. And so
Wow.
I'm like, put it back in the box, and he's like, no.
I love that. That is fascinating.
Yeah,
So you guys check this out, whether you know anything about it or not. We save a lot of this for the end, but where can they get your books?
they can get them online at theastrologystore.com, and then I will sign the books for whoever buys them, and I ship them directly to you. So I can do that tomorrow when I get back to the store. So if you're interested in the books, please. And I also wrote one on forensic astrology, but that's a whole other subject. But
I,
I use the asteroids in that because that name sometimes names the suspects.
I was going to go there in what I was doing. First off, what is forensic work for
Astrology.
forensic astrology?
Solving crimes with astrology and or finding motive, finding the details, the smaller details. And that's where asteroids really come in because it goes down to the name of who's involved. And the names of the victim and the perpetrator are always there and always, well, not always, but usually in a conflictive type, in the sky at the time of passing. So, or when an event occurred. So that's just crazy in itself.
So
And the
you
way,
can use this to help solve crimes.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or suicide versus murder, or suicide, or accidental. I can see a lot of different things in it. So there's a lot to this. Let's see.
So yeah, I want to talk things about some of your background of Veritas, but tell me a little bit. You did my chart, so just a little overview. Tell me about me.
Okay. Well, your big three, your Sag rising, Sagittarius rising, which is the optimistically you, and the very fun, optimistic, and that's very you. Your bubbly personality, that's Sag. Always looking for more information, always wanting more knowledge and to
Yeah.
share and distribute knowledge. That's Sag's goal. And then Libra is like, you can't not see Libra in you, it's like, and that's the nice, I always call them Miss Congenial, Mr. Nice Guy, that kind of energy. Don't like conflict, don't want to be around it, don't need it. So, and it's got a flair for color, art, music, the surroundings, decorating. My mom's Libra, so I understand the energy real well. Um, and then your moon sign is, where's your moon? Sorry, I just went blank. Oh, Aquarius. So yes, the brotherhood of man and wanting everybody to be all one in unity. That's Aquarius energy. And you do have an opposing Uranus, which Uranus is very strong in your chart too, which
What does
makes
that mean?
it makes you quirky and different and strange and unusual, which is all good things. Not, these
Yes.
are judgments. They're just the way it is. You're not the normal, everyday, housewife. Let's
No,
put it that way.
heaven forbid.
But yes, you wouldn't want that. That would bore you
No.
to death. And you've always liked exciting, different. Metaphysics is natural for draw to Aquarians. You know. And you have really strong conjunction with the Sun and Neptune are real close to each other. Neptune's what gives you the clairvoyance and the psychic ability, and that intuitive, just that empathic knowing. That's Neptune, but that's more the visions, like the seeing, not the hearing. That's clairaudience. That's different. So that's Cassandra. The Neptune is definitely the visual. Then you have that, right? Clairvoyance.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I again, and it's so interesting when I teach like mediumship, I tell them about the different clairs, but I never had any idea that that's going to line up with your planets and your.
Oh, yes. And see, you have real strong Uranus, which is also because Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are psychic planets. They all have like Neptune's the clairvoyance. Um, Uranus is that epiphany, that just sudden knowing where you don't know why, but it just pops in your head and you go, that's the answer and I know it.
Yeah.
That's definitely Uranus, which is that claircognizance. That clair just knowing and you don't know why. You just feel it and that's it. And nobody can tell you different.
Right.
See? And then the Pluto is the stuff with the underworld. If there's mediumship abilities, Pluto will be involved. Yeah, because not everybody's a medium. Not all psychics.
Right. No, not all psychics are mediums at all. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But you are, and you have that definitely strong in your chart. So that's good to know. It's good to validate. It's good validation.
It is good to validate because every once in a while you go, "Am I making this all up? I don't know. I've been doing this my whole life." But every once in a while it's like, "Am I crazy? Maybe."
Yeah, and that's why I think astrology is very helpful. And I have people all the time calling and saying, "Can you help me figure out what I would be good at?" And I say, "Let me look at your chart. That's the best way for me to validate for you what you have." And they usually say, "Yeah, that's exactly it."
So is that the best way to use astrology? Like what your strong points are, your need points, or
there's so many different ways that people don't even know the vast areas of astrology. But yeah, I think first of all, to understand yourself better and to understand who you are in the cosmos and what you're here for and to learn. And then for timing, like I do predictive for when things are going to be good for you and when things are, not so good. And sometimes we all have those periods because it's life. But I give you the tools and the timing and when is it going to end and when is it, and how do you cope with it and why are you learning it in the first place so that you understand the lesson, which makes life so much more bearable. I mean, it's hard enough as it is, even knowing this stuff is coming, but you understand it and you can work through it. But I can't imagine me not knowing astrology. I would just be like, take me out of here. I don't want to be here. It's too much. If it's never going to end, but you can see a beginning and end and a purpose for it, it makes it so much more sense,
That's fascinating. Again, I've always been so fascinated, but again, some little block, it's probably in the stars what my little block is to kind of embracing the understanding idea of astrology. It's probably in my asteroids or something.
It's a lot. There's a lot to it, and it's very complex. And
yeah.
And so I think you would have Isis stuff for you because she's real strong in your chart too.
That makes sense.
You have a strong connection to Isis in Egypt, and
yes, completely.
Yeah, and she's a healer, magic, queen of magic, basically. So one of them, Yeah, the other one that I wanted to talk to you about was Hecate. So it's one of because I know I like her, and
I like her. She's my goddess. Yeah.
Yes, and she's a 24 Taurus in your chart, which is very good. It's trining Jupiter, so she's very abundant for you. And let's see, Taurus.
So what does that mean, trine Jupiter?
It's a positive way. It's a harmonious flow of energy between her and Jupiter, Zeus. So they're working together in your chart to, accomplish whatever those two energies are. Like Zeus is growth and luck and abundance, and Hecate is helping people find their direction. She's the queen of witches and magic and talking to the other side of. So if it's activated in your chart, I mean, she's one of the asteroids I use for mediums too, and she shows up. She's on my midheaven, which is my career. That's what I do. So yeah, so it's there, and it's in your house of work too. It's what you do, service.
And it's my work. It's my survey. Wow. This
Yeah,
is amazing. Thank
yeah.
you.
So it's fun. I mean, we could go on forever with all these. There's so.
Well, yeah, we can, and I could sit down for you for 3 days, and I would love to hear all of this.
Oh, I
But I
do
guess
want to
I
talk
don't.
about one more though. Lilith.
One more.
Lilith is really strong in your chart too.
Who is?
Lilith.
Oh, Lilith. I love Lilith.
And
Yeah.
you know how we interpret her? I do too. She's opposing your ascendant. So that means, well, when Lilith is strong in a chart, especially female, they do not want to be dominated by male. And you refuse. And just like Lilith. And then you get cast out as a demon witch or whatever,
Like Lilith.
because yeah, like Lilith, because it's strong in a lot of my family's charts, my female family's charts, and she's had several divorces, but she will not be dominated and or controlled. And so as long as you're with somebody that will allow you to be you, it will work and allow you to be equal. And that's
Yeah,
a big thing.
that's my
You gotta be,
philosophy.
and you're not going to be dominated or step down because you're female. That's just not happening. So that's strong Lilith energy. So you get that?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Husband number 3.
So I wanted to make sure I said that before we go on to anything else.
Okay. No, that is just fascinating. Again, you guys have got to check out this guy. The astrology store is where you could find him, his shop, his products, his everything. But I want to go back to some of your history because this is so opposite of anything. You were part of something called the Veritas program, right, at University of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at research, right? Psychic research. What is that? And wow, how trippy that is.
Yeah, that was the first with Dr. Gary Schwartz, who started with like Alison Dubois, and that's where where he got famous from. And so they asked me to do it, and I was really kind of skeptical about scientists because I've always had bad things with scientists that just want to debunk and they don't listen to. So once I found out that he really was looking for the truth, no matter what it was, and that he would, if he found out that we could do what we said we could do, then he would promote us and go forward. And so I spent a couple of years with Veritas, and then their funding ran out at the university. They had a grant and it was dry. So Windbridge, the assistant to him, took Windbridge and started Windbridge. And started over with all the stuff that she had done with me. She took all the mediums that wanted to go, and we continued the research. We made it even tighter and quintuple blinded, which is 5 times blinded, which is amazing because most drugs are only 3 times blinded or 2 times sometimes. So it's very stringent protocols of how you do this, and it's like even the scientist was giving me the reading couldn't know who I was reading because then they would think that I could read her mind or his mind. Um, so they couldn't be privy to who I was going to read, and nobody could be involved with that. And I would get it like an hour before the reading, so there was no way I would. It's a first name only. How do you research Dave?
Yeah.
Which Dave in the world is this? So there's no way I could cheat or use Google or all that stuff. So there was in the protocol, and then I had to give the reading, and then 2 different people scored it. One was a real person that the reading belonged to, and one was just a regular person that they didn't know who it was for. They both thought they might get the reading, but only one was the real one. So then they had to score it. And so scoring the one that it was meant for should be higher, correct? And then the other one that didn't pertain to probably should be lower or not even score. And that's one way of knowing if they're just hopeful and wishing or not doing the right thing. But it was always that the one what went for was the highest score, and that made sense and connected. And they had to say it worked believe enough to that person to believe that it was really me communicating with their spirit. Otherwise, they would have dropped. There had to be enough stuff that wasn't any way I could find out, or that validated that person's energy or existence.
That's fascinating. That must have been scary for
It,
one, because it's like you're being judged. When
yes,
even when people get to your readings, they want to test you the first few minutes. It's like I
yes,
hate being tested,
I do
but
too.
but you must have been so great to develop your confidence. It
It
must have been the
did.
best training
I
ground.
think that was one thing that because I'm a shy person anyway, and I don't like to be on a soapbox too much. But it gave me the confidence to get out and say I'm a medium and I can do this and I can get up, and so now I do, audience style gallery readings, and I had to do it in a group of scientists once. They made me do that, and I was like, oh my god, no! Why did you pick me? There's other mediums, have them do it, and they're like, no, we're picking you. So I'm like, okay, and they were all white coats with their arms folded and looking at me with like the pencil, and I'm like, oh no, and I got them crying. I mean,
Oh
when I'm
my,
getting a scientist crying and going, how the hell did you do that? And how could you know that? There's no way. I'm like, I don't know. You tell me, you're the scientist. You figure it out. So,
that's amazing. Yeah, the scary stuff, the hard stuff is the good stuff. Eh.
yes. Yeah.
So, do you think that mediumship itself can be fully measured scientifically, or
It,
this
it,
led it towards that?
it has been, and it's been proven to the ones that went through it. And yeah, I think it can. The only thing that they still can't ever prove is if we're talking to, which we know the answer, but whether it's a real spirit, or there's also the philosophy or the belief that there could be like the Akashic records, or that we're just tapping into the memory of the universe and that it's downloaded into us. I know that's not true because I see the body come in. I see
Yeah,
sometimes they feel them. I tingle. I get messages of what's happening today. If it's a record of what happened in the past, there's no way they would know what that person's doing today or yesterday or what they ate for dinner. And
right.
sometimes they tell me that. So that way, I know, we all know. I mean, we're
Right.
not, we know
They
that.
really talk to us.
Yeah, they really
Nothing
do.
dies.
It's
Yeah,
not me tapping into the, universal record keeping stuff. So,
that's fascinating. So, so, yeah, that must have been so much pressure, but you came through with flying colors. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I did it with two different, you know, agencies, and then they test you further and further and further and do different types of testing. Can you do it this way? Just there's so much to it, and I was always open to, like when they said, "Does he volunteer for this kind of testing?" I would raise my hand, and then they'd pick me, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Now I have to do it. But I always loved doing it because I always wanted to see. It's like, I don't know, let's try it. You know?
I can't wait to spend more time with you.
Yeah,
Luckily I was there just last month and got to do workshops at your beautiful shop. I want to see you in action next, so that's what we're
that
next
would be
time I'm there. We're gonna get me back out there again. I also want to look at you, as you said, you're a hypnotherapist and you do past life work and stuff.
yeah.
How does your hypnotherapy complement your psychic and astrological work? Does it work hand in hand? Is it a whole different animal?
I it works hand in hand really because a lot of my clients are metaphysical minded, so they do want the metaphysical past life regressions, and I love doing that. I think it's such good for them as well, and it's I get to hear a story, and
Yeah,
sometimes I even use their chart. I don't talk about it unless they afterwards they want me to. I sometimes can see it in their chart, like where their past lives, because you can see a lot of past life stuff in their chart, and or the asteroids that connect. Like if they go back to Egypt and I see all these Egyptian asteroids clustered, and I'm like, yeah, there it is. So I like to validate it, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I do a lot of therapy. I love healing and helping. I totally believe in mind over matter, and I think we can create with our. It's what magic is your intention, and then let it do, and believe it, say
yes,
it, do it, take action. Earth,
yes.
fire, air, and water.
Yep.
get the emotion going, get the feeling, do something about it, put air into it, like you said, like you told me before. It's all the elements.
I
So
agree
really,
wholeheartedly. This is fascinating. Well, oh my God, I could talk for days. We're just going to have you back. But for everybody who is out there, tell them where they can follow you, where they could get a session or a reading with you. You teach workshops there in Arizona. It's Glendale, Arizona, which is basically Phoenix, right?
basically Venus, yes. And also they I do stream some of my classes. My astrology classes are usually streamed, so you can be in California. I have people in New York take my classes. Um, the psychic development classes and stuff is harder to do, but because you need to be there really, I think, and in the way I do it. So you can go to theastrologystore.com and or Facebook, look for Dave Campbell and or the astrology store, and all my stuff will come up. Or Instagram, TikTok, it's all there.
It's amazing. You guys follow him, like him, check him out, get his books. I want to get into asteroids. I may not understand planets, but I like asteroids.
I think they're fun, just the stories and
Yeah, so that's amazing. So as we're going into this new crazy time, 2026, and we know the world's a little topsy-turvy now. Any advice for people on how for us to best get through it or stay focused or balanced or whatever we need to stay?
yeah, I think it's going to be a real bumpy ride for the first quarter of the till spring's over. And it's going to be kind of a 180 turn. And
Mhm.
so just know that everything's going to be okay and that's part of the plan and that it's already pre-written and that it will be fine, and just keep doing your light work and your energy work and don't let people take away who you are and don't let them suppress you and don't put hide under a rock. That's the best advice I can give, and just be as loving and kind and giving as you can.
That's beautiful advice indeed, and that's what the world needs is loving and kindness and being our best you versus the fear living. So, oh my God, thank you so much, Dave Campbell. You guys, the astrology store, check out his books. Let's get into asteroids together.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much. And if anybody was here, little squeaks in the back, that wasn't a squeaky chair. That was Rusty, right?
He is here, but I don't know if you can hear him. We might have. Do
I
you hear
heard
him?
him
I
earlier. I
I
was going
tune him out, so I
squeak, squeak. It's this big, beautiful parrot who I got along with very well when I was there.
yeah, good.
So
Yeah,
anyway, yeah. So because I was first going, what am I squeaking over here? Oh no, it's the beautiful bird.
yeah.
So thank you, Dave. You guys, whenever you're in the Phoenix area, check out the astrology store. It's one of the biggest, most beautiful, with amazing workshop facilities, and you could buy everything you ever want. You've got the biggest incense selection I've ever seen, and candles, and
I'm obsessed.
so yay, that's good. All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, you guys. Thank you for bringing your magic to the witching hour.
Thank you so much.